So, Elon Musk Project 6854927.
Elon Musk Project 654-729.
He's getting involved with this initiative called Starlink. And what that is a network of satellites. Think of it like a web to bring internet service.
A more worldwide web?
To a worldwide web of satellites to bring internet service to basically anywhere in the world.
What are you talking about, Marcus? Doesn't everybody in the world have internet access?
No, because, there's always a cable somewhere. You and I know that. There's always a wire somewhere.
Right. Nothing is truly wireless yet.
Right. So,
Nikola Tesla.
they have to bring the wires into somewhere for most people to have internet access. And even
a
if that
line-of-sight
means
station or whatever.
Yeah, it's gotten better with like cell towers and things like that, but you still have to network those together physically.
Mm-hmm.
There are people in rural communities who can get satellite internet access. It's not as great as like a hard link, like a cable connection.
Right.
Right.
It's like having a phone line as opposed to like a cell phone or something.
Sort of, I guess. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of an analogy. I'm not as nerdy as you, bro. Come on, help me out here.
So obviously that ties in to SpaceX because they would be the company that would be launching the rockets to get these satellites up there.
Yeah, the middleman.
Right. So that's kind of where that ties in. There's pretty big implications for this because, everybody in the world, theoretically, who has access to a device that can connect to the internet.
A tablet, a phone, whatever.
I mean, that changes your life. I mean, it can't really be overstated how much impact the internet can have on.
Yeah, it's hard to really understand the impact that the internet has had until you don't have it.
True.
So you don't have it for like a day. You're like, damn, this literally touches every single tiny.
There's no internet to find out why we can't have no internet.
Yeah, right. What did we used to do to find out what was going on before we had the internet? A television.
Well, we can't really bring you the news because our
internet's down, right? Like CNN's like calling up like Fox and MSNBC. Hi, is your guys' internet on? No? Okay, well, just let us know or whatever. If any news comes, we'll be here.
Yeah, it's one of those things like when the power goes out, that's when you see people leave their homes and they start talking to their neighbors like, oh, hey, what's your name, Jim?
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like in Fahrenheit 451 where like that girl is like walking down the street like at night just for like a walk and she gets like pulled over basically and they're like, what are you doing? He's like, out for a walk. You're like, where are you going? Nowhere, just around. Walking around with nowhere to be. Who does that? That's weird. We're taking it to the loony bin. Get in.
Yeah. So that's like the great thing about it. There's lots of good things that can come of, people in rural areas getting internet, especially if it's of sufficient speed so that you can do a lot more things with it.
So you don't have to wait like 5 minutes for like a nudie pic or something.
Well, that's not where I was going with it, but I was thinking more of like
the
educational.
Internet can be used for other than that?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm missing out.
If there's a better use for the internet, I haven't found
it yet.
Ooh, dancing Jesus. But on the other side of the coin, are you familiar with the term space junk?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very, actually.
Right. So there's I forget the name of it, but there's a thinking that eventually we will have so many satellites and so much just crud up there from like, things that have broken off of like space shuttles and rockets and whatever, and everything that's just surrounding the Earth.
Right.
That eventually we won't even be able to get rockets out of it.
Because there won't be any.
Because we're just going to collide with something.
Yes.
And if you're fascinated by this, there's actually like there's a team at NASA that actually sits there and monitors everything to make sure that there's a clear window for launches. How interesting
is that? So check it out. There's a whole like group in NASA whose sole purpose it is to like adjust the trajectory of all satellites in order so they don't crash into each other.
Yeah.
Because there's like what, like 2,000-ish satellites up there right now.
And not even all of them are active. Some of them are
dead and just in decaying orbit and haven't quite reached like the area where they like fall into the atmosphere and burn up or whatever. Yeah. And there's a bunch of junk too from like the Apollo program, like call back from what was it, episode the moon landing one. We found out that like out of the Apollo rocket, like the top like 5% was the only part that like left Earth and came back, where like the bottom 95% just kind of like separated in different like sections and is now floating around in the atmosphere basically.
Yeah.
Dodging all these freaking satellites that are also dead.
Yeah, and there's companies that are trying to figure out, maybe SpaceX will figure it out, but there's companies that are trying to figure out a way to collect the space junk. And
couldn't they at least, if they can't like collect it, couldn't they freaking build some sort of like software program that basically once
avoidance stuff?
Yeah, like they make automated adjustments that once they get into
the same kind of software that they would get from a company like, say, Tesla.
Yeah, I was gonna say they should provide like in-house information for that to be vertically integrated.
Yeah, it's a booming industry right now. But the other thing is that obviously city people don't usually have this problem, but if you're out in the country and you can see the night sky.
What you mean city people? All right, you just take that back, mister.
You know, a satellite coming across the sky can look a lot like
aliens. Oh, sorry, you're going totally different. Sorry,
like a quote unquote shooting star.
Yes.
You know, and so there's even like a light pollution problem if you think of it from that aspect.
Totally.
And
yeah.
Anyway, people who have an interest to look at the night sky, you know, they're constantly being, especially if you do like imagine those exposed photograph type of things, and then there's just like you can't see anything because all these satellites are going by.
Yeah, because it will leave like a light streak on an exposed film, exposed lens or whatever.
Yeah, so there's like the space junk problem. There's the night sky problem.
How funny is it that like we're finally, as a society, as a human society, we've reached a level of like technology and civilizational advancement where we're finally becoming worried about not just the pollution and the junk and garbage and shit in our immediate vicinity and in the oceans and stuff, but like literally flying above us,
right?
Like circling our planet. Like as we like kind of move into that new era of like not just the perils, but like of like just leaving all of our crap everywhere in space and the problems that it's going to cause and the solutions we're going to need to
then you just get aboard the Axiom and you let the Wallies deal with it.
Yeah, for real, totally. And then you just kind of like dip out into space for a little while and while freaking you let the robots clean everything up. Or you leave all the freaking riffraff down on the planet to like wallow in the freaking garbage and stuff while like the rich elitist douchebags like fly. Yeah, exactly. Like that Matt Damon documentary. I like to refer to all movies as documentaries. You know what? Let me take it another direction. Because I was going to ask what kind of positive things can people that don't have the internet kind of expect or whatever. But shit, we kind of know that already. What kind of negative things can we expect from
people having an internet connection?
Everybody having an internet connection. What possible negative,
if you get educated, then you can learn about all the chicanery and bullshit that you're subject to.
Yeah, no kidding, right? That your local government is probably foisting on you. Right. Propaganda and such.
Right.
That's not a bad thing, though. Well, I mean, depends who you're talking to.
Yeah, the elites don't want that.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's definitely downsides. There's the dark parts of the internet and the evils of social media.
That's all like small stuff. Of course.
You could even go into like a sort of privacy thing if they start to put surveillance everywhere. And
Can he implement this program right now with the available infrastructure, or is 5G a mandatory thing for this? Because you know how that's like the new big technology in order to compress like data.
I don't think it has anything to do with 5G. I could be wrong.
So they could do it just right now.
I think they've already started launching some of those.
Right on.
Some of the Starlink satellites.
Well, that would be better because, I don't know if this is like true or not, but a lot of people are like concerned with like 5G because of how like compressed the frequency is or whatever, holding all this information, and they're like worried about like radiation and stuff like that and how it's going to affect like organic matter and shit like that. And it might not do anything, but there's all like if you could put on goggles that could show you all of the like signals that are going through the world right now, radio, television, internet, freaking like all that stuff, you would be blinded with how much like information is being sent out and absorbed and refracted.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the birds are seeing,
Oh my God, right? Or like Geordi from freaking Star Trek's like visor, you're like, oh my God.
Can't say anything.
Lambs to the cosmic slaughter.
You were asking me about return on investment?
Yeah. Is he doing this for pure?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't looked that far into it, but I suppose you could, if you're charging people to do it, just like any other ISP or self-service or anything like that, You
could do ads too. Like just people would want to.
You could do ads on the satellite so that they make a message as they stream across the sky.
How funny would that be?
Skywriting.
Eat it, Joe's. Eat it, Joe's.
Ice Cube's a pimp.
The world is yours, Tony.
All right. Starlink. Okay. I was wondering.
Is that like a website where it gets you like contacted with celebrities?
Yeah, if you got a crush on. Not going to reveal my celebrity crushes.
You can send them your like bodily fluids in weird little jars and stuff.
Gross.
Here's some of my blood. Here's most of this is spit.
I am not going to include.
That's so gross. No, of course. No, obviously, you don't need any of that.